I want to say hello to Pastor LaVoy and Julie Newton at Lighthouse Church in St. Augustine, Florida. And I want to take this opportunity to very briefly recap for you what it means when we talk about finishing the Great Commission and the finish commitment. The word finish really is an acronym. The first letter is F, and it stands for find. And that means that we find lost people, whoever they are, wherever they are. We talk about finding the unreached people groups of the world, but we must ask ourselves the question, who are the unreached in St. Augustine, Florida? Who are the unreached in your neighborhood? Maybe the unreached in your home. Whoever they are, wherever they are, we are called to find them. The next letter is the letter I, of course, and that stands in this case for intercede or intercession. God has called us to be a praying people and a praying church. We have established as one of our goals in the Church of God in North America that we will pray 1 million hours per year just for the harvest. That's after you've prayed for everything else, for everybody else. Dedicate at least 1 minute a day to pray for the harvest. If 17% of our denominational population will do that, we can pray 1 million hours a year for the harvest. But again, let's contextualize it to your setting. How much prayer time can you give in your local church? Can you pray an hour a week? Can you pray 5 minutes a day? Can you pray a minute a day? Whatever you do, just begin, start, and seek the Lord in prayer. The next letter is the letter N, and in this case it stands for networking. A good friend of mine by the name of Dr. James Davis says, if you're not networking, then you're not working. And we need to build our network. We need to enlarge our borders and our landscape and include others in harvest ministry. You know, I can do so much and you can do so much, but all of us working together, networking together, can make exponential our ability to reap and reach this great harvest. So N stands for networking. The next letter in the word finish, again, is the letter I, and this time it stands for invest. God is calling us to invest in the harvest. Now, I'm not just talking about finances. However, we need to invest in our missionaries and keep them on the field. We need to invest in church planners. But in this case, when I talk about investing, I'm talking about what we give to pour into others to help them become a greater part of this harvest ministry. And so again, I ask you to invest in young people, invest in children's ministry, invest your time, invest your talent as well as your treasure, invest your prayers into others. The next letter is the letter S, and it stands for send. You know, we must be willing to send people into gospel ministry. The Bible tells us that we have a marvelous treasure in earthen vessels. But unless that treasure gets out of those vessels and is sent into the field of harvest, it will never make an impact like it needs to. So I ask you to follow the admonition of Scripture to help someone get to the field of harvest and preach the gospel. And the Bible tells us, how can they preach unless they be sent? So let's send others into the harvest. And of course, the last letter is H, and that does stand for harvest. You know, God is a harvesting God. Jesus is a harvesting Jesus. He said that He came to seek and to save those which are lost. And the Bible tells us that we are to pray to the Lord of the harvest that He would send forth laborers into His harvest. It's not my harvest. It's not your harvest. We are laborers together with God in His harvest. So I join with Pastor LaVoy today and Julie, and I ask you to link together as a congregation, and let's do all we can to finish the Great Commission and do our part to finish the Great Commission in St. Augustine, Florida. I love you, Pastor. God bless you today.